Hello and welcome to Corey Reads. I'm Corey and I will be reading today. Today we are going to continue with our reading of the Bible. We are up to chapter 16 of the first book of Moses called Genesis. So we will continue on from there. Chapter 16. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah. And Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarah said to Abram, or unto Abram, My wrong be unto thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judges between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarah, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarah dealt harshly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of the Lord found her by the fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way of Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, whence camest thou, and whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarah. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, and it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And she called the name of the Lord that spoke unto her, Thou God seest me, for she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore the well was called Beer Ahai Roy. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. Okay, and chapter 16 details the conception and birth of Ishmael, who is described as a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all of his brethren, which is kind of interesting. But the whole thing comes apart because Abram's wife, Sarah, can't bear children, so she says to Abram to basically take her maid, which is an Egyptian girl named Hagar. So he does, takes a maid, gets her pregnant, and when she conceives, she looks upon her mistress, Sarah, as, bad. So she doesn't like the fact that she got pregnant because Sarah's planning just to take the babies to raise as her own. So she runs away, and the angel of the Lord meets her at a fountain and basically tells her that, to go back and to submit to her mistress and to have the baby for Abram. So that's pretty much it. It's interesting. Sarah says, oh, I can't have a baby with my maid. So he does. And that's how Ishmael is born. All right, that's pretty much it. Oh, first, another thing I almost forgot. This is the first mention that I ran into about an angel. It says, and the angel of the Lord. Never before, so far in the first 15 chapters, has anything been mentioned about an angel. So there we go. First mention of an angel. Thanks for listening.